I've 3 grandchildren living in the flats, and they don't pass the door, whether they live over me. And if they're coming down, they come in. If they're coming up, they come in. They're always there.
Well, Conzo and I sit for hours on the wall talking, and she's a very trustful friend. But in the winter, we mightn't see one another for a week. Unless I was coming back in the shop, and she'd be in the window. But when she moved to our house, I kept looking up at that window thinking I'd seen her. And I do miss her.
See, I loved the flat. Now, as I say, I came from I was born and reared in the house. But the flats were gorgeous. You had running hot water. You had all the comforts, you know. And it was all in the one bill, you were paying it there. Where in the house you have 4 or 5 different bills.
I was ready to spend the rest of my life here. And, well, unfortunately now they're coming down, so we have to go somewhere. But I don't want to leave Inchicore because I was born and raised in Inchicore, and my husband was born and raised in Inchicore.
$187, 172, 163, 172,
184.
30, 198, 187,
67,
172,
The Brackens, the Browns, Cora, McKenna,
the Crowleys, Finnegans, the Hebrides,
the Hillocks.
the Howells,
I was living in 160,
and then I moved over to 193.
and I went into 15,
I was on the 3rd landing, 87.
block 8, 9 and 10.
the McGarrys,
9 in the grass.
the Keeves, the McLaughlins,
Molly Kennedy.
Mr. Hannon.
Mrs. April,
Mrs. Doyle.
I've lived in the back part, the middle part and the back part. Well, I lived in block 2. I lived in block 5. I've lived in block 7. And now I live in block 1.
Finnegans, the Hebrides,
The Hillocks,
the Howells,
Joe Larkin,
the Johnsons, Cavanaghs,
the Cairnses, the Kennedys, Little Carol, Mrs. Peacock,
Sadie Flood, the McGarrys,
9 in the grass.
the Keeves, the McLaughlins,
Up in 160 we had Mrs. Peacock for a while. We had a girl named Martha, she lives in block 6 now.
O'Connors,
Mr. Walsh.
198 we lived in 187, and then we lived up in 172, and then we lived in 163, and we lived in the Mary Quarters then, number 30. We were all over.
The Adamses.
And Miss Galley. Body Castles.
The Bowlands, the Bowders, the Bowes, the Bones, the Cockery.
Tiny loaf, strong.
I was born there, 184 Kiosker. I still remember the number. I was born there in 1946. Living at home was about, including one of the fathers, about 17 of us.
I was born and raised in Close Square, 67 Close Square, and I grew up there. And my father died in 1945,
I went to Golden Bridge School at 4 years of age, and my mother went out to work. There were 5 of us. I had 1 sister and 3 brothers. I played all the games in Square with all the other children.
When I went to Square first, there was a clock arch there. They called it the clock arch.
Yeah.
There was no clock on it, but they called it the clock arch. And there was 2 arches. There was one you could come in the back way and one you could go in the front way. But over at one side there was the Mary Quarters was called, but it was huge now, huge. In the centre there was a big field, and there was a big bandstand.
Everyone, you all sit out in the summer, you know, and most of the Sunday you'd see everyone out, you know, and everyone was very friendly.
You know, your granny and your mother and all that, and the kids would all sit out in the grass.
It was fairly cold in the winter. Now, we didn't have electricity then for quite a long time. We had old gas mantles. And then I think it was around the middle of 50s that we finally got the electricity, you know, that finally came.
Had gas and it was cut off, you know what I mean? Then they all queued on the fires up there. There were big open fires.
They used to say there was headless horsemen running up and down the big square. And when we used to come in from a dance, we used to start at the end of the block running all the way up to our own flat, and then you'd hear the women out the window the next morning. Did you hear them headless horsemen going around last night? And I'd be high heels clicking up the square.
If when we went for a job, if you give your name, Oakhill Square, oh yeah, well we'll send for you. But they'd forget, of course, to take your name and address, and yet they say they send for you, you know, that kind of way. They were kind of people who judged the book by the cover.
Most of them emigrated now, you know, most of them did emigrate. And then some moved out to houses and that, you know, but mostly emigrated. Because at the latter end of the years, all the old crowd was gone, most of them was gone out of it. Started putting them from everywhere then to destroy the place then.
We used to go out and watch them putting the big chain and ball. We used to all stand around when they'd be knocking in some part. There was actually people who used to stand there crying. A lot went to Drimnagh, a lot went to Ballyfermot, a lot went into flats on the north side. Like they scattered them everywhere, they were everywhere. They built block 8, 9 and 10 floors. So the people out that side of Keogh Square got flats in them 3 blocks. They all moved into block 8, 9 and 10.
I lived in Shamrock Street in one room. We got a letter to say that we got a flat in Michael's estate, and then she called and I asked where was that, because I lived in the city, so it was like coming out to the country. But one thing I did find hard when I came, my rent was 8 shillings, and when I came over here it was £3, 9 and 3 evenings.
And a lot of people came back that had moved out, like they got transfers back.
I'm living in St Michael's Estate. It'll be 20 years in September. I never lived in a flat, and I certainly never lived in a high-rise building. I loved the flat, but I did feel very isolated because I didn't know nobody. But then when I was going over to the school and meeting people, and I'm just saying, well, they're just like myself.
We used to have to wash the landings once a week because there were 6 of us on the landing. They were spotless.
Like in one sense you knew everything that was going on because your windows better than the radio. I absolutely adored looking out. The minute I get up in the morning I'd be just looking out to see that and happen. I could see the whole thing, it's Park, the Pope's Cross and everything. You know, you had great views now.
The summers was great, and the kids, they all played together, grew up together, and it was great. You sat in the playground till about 6 o'clock at night. You went up there and gave them their dinner and washed and dressed and put them to bed, you know. And you done the same thing the next day.
In the summer we'd sit out with the kids. And the laughters. We used to be sitting down and some of us be knitting. There'd be camps all over the place. And then you'd hear someone roar out, "Me best friend, they're up, there's a new blanket."
I moved into the estate, it was brilliant. There was loads of activities for the kids, you know, for us. There was playgrounds, there was swings, slides, there was youth clubs, discos, summer projects. The estate was great at that time.
Sharon Wynne and Michelle Keogh, and there used to be an extended gang: Martin Ward, Christopher Dorn, Jason McKenna, Brian Bolton, Jeff Tunstead and Stokey. We played football every single night. And at Christmas time, no matter how many kids was in the house, and at them days you'd have big families, but the Santa's knock on the door in a red suit.
And you give a parcel for all the kids on the estate, and it might have been only sweets or something like that there, but it really made the kids feel like very special because Santa knew their names.
I'm with the builder, best builder there ever was.
Well, see, what happened, there's some good people here now. They offered them £5,000. They built a place out in Clondorgan, and they were offered they could buy them, and they were getting a grant of 5,000.
People were getting houses and moving out. A lot of the tenants association moved out at that time, like the likes of Larkin and that, they all moved out.
And all of a sudden, the place changed completely.
You could get a complete stranger beside you, but if you had someone that you knew, you were kind of more safe. And I think that's what kind of brought the flats down.
How we all got together as a group around the drugs issue was 18 years ago, and every block had its residential drug pusher, and that was like the match that started us all off. The kids was watching, this was happening. So a few of us got together and just said, look, we're not putting up with this. Then we used to hold meetings.
It was in the community centre, and you might have up to 200, 300 people there.
And we used to walk around the estate. I went into labour actually one night walking around the estate. That's 18 years ago.
To sit down there at the end of the road there at the youth centre, and he'd have a barrel, and he'd light that fire in the barrel, and he'd be there all night.
Around the early 80s, I remember one march that stuck out, and they got the guy out who was doing the gear, you know.
And I think what was happening all over the city, was everyone was becoming aware of the impact of drugs, not just in Michael's estate.
Well, it died out because we were very strong, and maybe we were very naive when we thought the drug problem ceased, but it didn't, it just went underground. And I'd say it was really the kids that got me into being active in the estate.
Between us all then, that's how we started the U project, and we started number 70. Well, we opened the Family Resource Centre in September of the next year, 85.
well, you have now the resource centre, the after schools, the arts and craft for the kids. I mean, a few years ago you didn't have anything like that.
Well, I was involved in the resource centre here. You could come over and talk to somebody here you could come to, and got involved then. I got a job then up in the nursery from being known.
We've 10 years with the resource centre now, and we do great things. We've done the exhibition, and we do history classes, loads of things. And then we went on weekends, which was great.
Because of the Family Resource Centre, I have loads of memories, loads of good times. Actually taking pride in yourself because you've been part of the Family Resource Centre and all that's going. The exhibitions that we have done.
When I went in and seen the work that was done and it was all put together and set up, it looked fabulous. It was beautiful. And to think that women done that work, we done that work.
But it started going down, the corporation was no help to anybody. I don't know what you went in and said to them, they never done that. And now it's costing them. But there's loads of things you could have done, you know. But there was no willpower, or you were hiding with the money. We know where all the money went now. Anyway, Charlie and his cronies. There was never a penny.
And I had windows to see all over except the complete back, and I had never seen pushing or anything going on. I'd never seen drugs, I didn't know anything about drugs. I suppose I just about 2.5, 3 years before I left. And I say in the last 2 years before I left, when I really seen it going down here, that's when they started to sit on the landing. And the junkies then did start coming. They took over basically.
And the young boys, and like looking at them, and now they're gone. You know what I mean? That is it. St. Michael's Day took so many lives in the last few years that is the sad part about it.
And their soul, afraid of dying, that never learns to live when the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long.
Like, I think there is a glimmer of hope there for Inchicore from Michael's estate.
It's not that, when you go up there now, this gardens, Phyllis wants to have this kind of a garden, do you know what I mean? I'm put rockery, stones all around my garden, I am.
The people in Michael's estate are marvellous, and I love it. I idolise it. I love Michael's estate. I know I'm going, but I think when the time comes, there'll be many a tear.